Like, oh my gosh, if this is what you're coming out the gate with, what on earth are we to expect from you in the future? Hi, baby. Are you okay?
I just wanted to ask you, I'm still hungry, and what are we having for dinner?
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danielle. If you are new here, welcome to The Fine Print. Please be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes in the future. I am so excited to dive a little deeper into the book I finished and loved. As you can already tell by the title, we will be discussing Black Cake. This book is a novel by Charmaine Wilkerson. She is on another level, and I'll tell you why. This is this woman's first novel. When I say I could not believe, this is her first novel. It's so phenomenal. The way I found out about it is because there's a Hulu series made after this book. I just finished it recently and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This book is closer to about 400 pages, but the way she broke this book down made it feel like nothing. Those 400 pages flew in that she broke it down into vignettes. So short stories, when you're learning, it's kind of like episodes where you're learning it from a specific person's point of view. And because the vignettes are so short, they're constantly changing. You're constantly trying to stay engaged so that you know exactly who's speaking, whose point of view we're getting. The book has a lot of characters. We're also trying to figure out where that person's point of view is coming from, because sometimes people will be in London, sometimes people would be in the 60s, sometimes they'd be in the present day. It was constantly changing, so it kind of kept you engaged to know, okay, let me pay attention. I don't want to miss any details in where people are and who's talking. And I really loved that. I loved how the story goes deeply into the complexities of people, of individuals, and how nothing is cut and dry. There's always meanings and secrets behind things, and it encourages you not to take anything at face value. There's always a deeper meaning. It also highlights the relationship between generations. Okay, so I'm going to give 4 main takeaways from the book for me, and I feel like that will help just to add depth to my review without giving the book away. Number 1, handle your vices. Whether your vice is gambling, women, men, overspending, whatever it is, put a muzzle on that thing. Put safeguards around it, because you don't want that thing to take you out. If you let that vice get out of control, it can ruin not only your life, but the lives of those around you. And I'll leave it at that. Number 2, if you are a woman and you are staying at home with your children, I think it is really important. This is not to say that, I'm not saying don't stay at home. I think that's a beautiful thing, but keep that resume updated and be intentional about developing some kind of skill that you can monetize. Primarily because you never know what could happen. And it'd be nice to have some kind of cushion that you can fall back on if the unimaginable or unthinkable happens in terms of in your relationship. I remember watching the sit-down interview that Oprah had with Harry and Meghan. And this is after they separated themselves from the royals because of the toxic behavior and experiences that they were dealing with, really. And so when they made that decision to separate, they lost access to their income, which is major. So when you don't have that financial cushion anymore, what are you going to do? And I remember Harry saying that one of the reasons why they were able to survive financially, what kept them was the money that Princess Diana had set aside for him. And wow, when I heard that just sat with me differently, because it's like, even from the grave, she made sure that her kids were taken care of. That's deep. That's deep. And so, without giving this story away at all, I'm just saying, if you're in a position where you're raising babies and devoting a lot of your time to that, it's easy to be you get sucked into that work. It's a huge undertaking, and as huge and challenging as it is, still find a way to keep your resume updated, or find ways to develop new skills that you can monetize. And even connecting with a career coach to be able to learn how to monetize the skills that you're developing even in the household can be really major in terms of making sure that you have something set aside always in case of a rainy day or an unimaginable situation. Your children will be taken care of, and if you're still alive, you would be taken care of as well. So, and this is not me knocking the family structure at all. Life be life, and things happen, and it's better to have a nest egg for a rainy day than none at all. Explore your passions. Oftentimes we're told to follow your heart, or don't follow your heart. Be practical. The advice can be really extreme, but what I think is really wise to do is don't let your passions get too far away from you that you can't remember what they are. What is it? Keep your hand on the pulse of what's happening in terms of whatever field you're really interested in. And I say that because I noticed there were some themes that were pivotal across they were multi-generational themes regarding a passion for the ocean, the water, swimming, deep sea exploration, baking. There were a lot of themes that seemed to be passed down. Keep your passions close to your heart. Don't let go of them or throw them away simply because a lot of time has passed. You can always pick them back up and keep diving into them. Number 4. I think for me, this is the main one. You never know what somebody is dealing with. You don't know what somebody is walking through. You don't know what somebody has walked through already. The number of family secrets in this book. See how thick this book is? The number of family secrets were nuts, like nuts. And honestly, it's not uncommon for people to take those secrets to the grave. And you find out at the funeral, oh, they had a whole family over here we didn't know about? Or he had a family across town, or she isn't actually who we think she is. Like, that has happened many times in life. Like, we've all heard stories like that. And some of us have actually experienced that. So with that being said, you never know what people are dealing with. You never know what people are facing. Don't judge. What you can do is be a safe space for them so that if they do ever share the secret, they can share it in a safe space. There was just layers to the amount of trauma that some of these family members had experienced. And so because of that, there was a lot there were places they felt like they couldn't go. There were experiences they weren't comfortable diving deeply into because of things that had happened in the past. And it was like they were living their life in a prison just to survive. In many cases, you will never know what people are walking through. I think it's important to learn how to hold your judgment. I also think it's very important to learn the art of discretion. And if you don't understand what discretion means, discretion is the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way as to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. Just because a person don't say anything. They may not say that explicitly. Just because they don't say it explicitly doesn't give you permission to go and share this with whoever. Just because, like, don't make assumptions that people are cool with each other. Like, you never know who's gunning for somebody else. You never know who has issues with jealousy and has ill intent for somebody else. And if you are just sharing things willy-nilly with any and everyone, you could be putting somebody else in danger. And so in ways that you may not realize, because it may seem innocent, but like I said, you never know what's going on. So that doesn't mean live in a prison in terms of how you proceed in conversations, but it's being mindful of the idea that this is this person's business to tell, not mine. Knowing the art of discretion is important, really, really important, especially if you want to maintain the trust of others. I'm going to leave it there. I really want you to read the book if you haven't already. So I love black cake, but I'm well aware that black cake is considered an acquired taste for a lot of people. Even though black cake is typically associated with Jamaican culture, most of the Caribbean islands make black cake. Oh, it's so good. And typically it's eaten at Christmas time or at weddings. I did not know that people put icing on black cake. I can't imagine what that would taste like. I guess if people do it, there are people who love it, but I don't see why you'd put icing on black cake. But there are people who are like, I don't see why you'd even make black cake. But I love it. I love it. So I specifically saved a piece of black cake for when I finished the book so that I could savor it and enjoy it, because I knew I would be like salivating and wanting some black cake while I was reading the book. So it was such a nice treat to be able to have that afterwards. I saved a piece of black cake for myself as a reward when I finished the book. But my dad orders black cake every Christmas from a cousin that I haven't met. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. She makes the best black cake. I love it so much. So I don't think you have to freeze black cake. I don't think you have to because there's so much alcohol in it. Oh, this is so good. Get into it. Get into it. Black cake is meant to be savored. It's meant to be savored. But I hope that if you plan to read this book, you thoroughly enjoy it. I cannot wait to compare the book to the series, the TV series on Hulu. I will watch it and definitely give you my review. All right, everyone, I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe, like the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.